Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Call of the Night Season 1, Episode 8. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So immediately picking up where last episode left off, and we kind of get the revelation about what all those shocked faces at the end were. And we find out that there's a stipulation when it becomes becoming a vampire. Basically, Ko doesn't have all the years and all the time in the world to make this accomplished. I kind of got it right because I was like, either they're saying like, hey, you don't have as much time as you think because you think we're going to wait around years for you to accomplish this. It's like, you got a short amount of time or we're going to kill you, or they're shocked at his dedication. It's neither, but it's closer to the first rather than the latter, because it turns out Ko only has less than a year now, because basically you have until a year of first getting your blood sucked by a vampire to become a vampire, because after that it becomes null and void and you can no longer do it. That's a wild stipulation that I've never come across before, and I haven't read every vampire fiction out there, but that's interesting putting on a time limit like that. And I brought that up earlier in the season. It's interesting because you always want to know, like, what are vampires capable in this universe? What is the vampiric lore? Because yes, there's a lot of consistency, no reflections and stuff like that, not going out in sunlight, but then you get rules like this. Because we haven't really come across the whole, like, oh, you have to be invited in situation. That might not be a stipulation at all in this universe. I didn't even really think about that until now. But yeah, that's a new one for me. Like, you have a year of getting your blood drawn, and after a year, which obviously he has less than a year since she first drank his blood, so. And Natsuna was aware of this rule, she just completely forgot about it, so it didn't even cross her mind. Also makes a lot of sense, because why would she really maintain that knowledge? Because she's never shown any interest in ever making any offspring, and that's kind of the beef that this crew had with her, was that, So now it's got Ko thinking about a lot of this. It's like, once again, it's a different thing when you're chasing a dream and you think you have years, but now it's like, I literally have less than a year to kind of figure this whole thing out. And then Akira kind of puts things in perspective that he never really thought about. It's like, well, that also means, like, they're letting you live right now because you know about vampires and you're a human who knows about vampires, but they're letting you go because you have every intention of becoming a vampire, so they're letting you go. But the moment a year passed, despite you wanting to become a vampire, you'll no longer be able to become a vampire, so you then become a human who has knowledge about vampires without the ability to become one. They will track you down and kill you. Once again, I'm surprised we're not having a whole conversation of, well, what does that mean about Akira? It's like, well, the difference is Nazuna's not going to say anything and Ko's not going to say anything. And to be fair, Akira's not hanging around Nazuna on a pretty consistent basis like Ko is. Like, and this is also like word has gotten about, like, oh, this is a guy you're drinking from consistently. So like, Akira hasn't drawn that attention like Ko has, so she doesn't have to worry about it. But it's like, truth be told, as word got out, she'd be on the chopping block too. So, but yeah, Ko's kind of worried because he's like, yo, like, what do I do? And even Akira wants to give him advice, but it's like, will he be okay? I think it's interesting because she's like, right, he's so well dedicated and really good at studying, but for whatever reason, this part of things is where he laps. It's kind of the difference between having book smarts and street knowledge. It's not the same, but it's more so like, hey, you're book smart, but you're emotionally stunted because you don't know, like, you're not emotionally intelligent, because he doesn't know how to deal with emotions, and it's like it's all kind of new to him. Like, it seems like such a foreign concept to him. It's interesting because Akira's about to say something, and I'm curious what she was going to say, where she was basically like, maybe Ko studying so much, she almost made it seem like maybe his educational side of things was almost a cover. Like, I don't know if what she was going to take away was maybe he was so studious and stuff like that to overcompensate and cover for the fact is that he's not very good with people, and it's just the social construct and social setting of a school and studying put up the front like he was good with people when he wasn't. I don't know if that's what she was getting at or not. I think you could still extrapolate that to some degree from Ko, but either way, we run into our other protagonist of the story, a recurring character in the story, Mahiro. Turns out Akira knows him. In fact, he knows Ko as well. And I love that he's like, yo, we were friends hanging out all the time. I'm missing. Akira's like, wait, did we hang out? He's like, wow, that's hurtful. Like, we hung out all the time. But it's like, Mahiro is very popular in regards that, like, a lot of people constantly surround him. So it's really hard to kind of gauge, like, because she doesn't have any memories, but I guess it's like, it was so long ago, and, like, they haven't really connected. Like, it seems like I think without Ko being the connective tissue, they all kind of like spread out and kind of went their separate ways. But we find out, funny enough, Mahiro is kind of living up the nightlife himself because an older woman, which Akira's like, don't tell me it's going to be a vampire. He's like, what? What does that mean? She's like, don't worry about it. But also it's like, why is everyone enjoying the nightlife? Like, is that the new trend or something? It's probably always been a thing. But now here are people who you've come to know, both Ko and Mahiro, who are pretty good students, are enjoying the nightlife. And he's asking about Ko. He's like, yo, how is Ko doing? It's like, oh, he seems good. And it's like, well, if you run into him next time, tell him I said hi, and stuff like that. So obviously Mahiro's constantly making excuses of like bailing on what people want him to do. It's like, oh, you should come hang out with us. He's like, I got this thing to do, and let's hang out at night. And just Akira's just like, man, what's up with all of this? She's like, come on, guys, everybody get your sleep schedule back into place, which is ironic considering her sleep schedule has kind of gotten jacked up too, because the call of the night's kind of been, siren singing to her to some degree, not to the extent that it has Ko, and not to the extent as Mahiru, but I still think it's been calling to Ko a lot more. But with a lot of this stuff on his mind, well, really it became about, I lost Nazuna, she's around here somewhere, I need to track her down. He ends up no, that's a later section of the episode. I was confusing the second half of the episode with the first half, where like he ends up running into Siri, and she was kind of like, "Hey," and he's like, "No, I need to get away from you. Literally, the last time I ran into you, you were trying to kill me." She's like, "No, it's all good. It's all water under the bridge." But he's talking about the circumstances of like, well, it's all good, but the problem is he doesn't know what it's like to once again to fall in love with someone, or to like someone, or to date someone. And then Siri starts getting really like hot and bothered by it. I'm like, once again, where Nazuna's all about the lewd stuff and doesn't like the romance. The others were all about the romance and can't handle the lewd stuff. And it seems like Siri kind of treats romance stuff like it's lewd stuff, because she was like panting and just getting so, like I said, hot and bothered by it. She got so giddy about it, but I guess that's kind of like what she gets off on, because it's like, oh my god, he's so pure and innocent. Maybe it kind of leads into the whole, like, lends itself to the whole virgin thing, but it's like, oh, he's so pure and innocent, but doesn't know what dating is. And she's the one that kind of gives him dating advice, tells him to go ask Nasuna out on a date, and he does. But she's initially like, no, I'm not going to, I'm busy playing the game. He cuts it off, ends up taking her out, but the problem is it's not like what she would want, because obviously she doesn't do well with the romance. So he did the worst thing possible. He took her to a rom-com, which she's literally cringing, and it's like, I'm clenching my teeth and just like, oh, I just want to, oh, what are you trying to kill me? Do you want me to kill you? Like, this is like the stupidest thing you could have done. In retrospect, it's like, yeah, I get it, like you want the romantic stuff, but it's like, that's not Nazuna's bag. So they go to a cafe, and she's drinking, and he's asking like, oh, how did you enjoy the movie? And it's like, because they didn't get too far into the date. I think it was just the movie and the cafe, but there was other stuff on the list. Siri even said like, yo, don't let Nazuna knows this comes from me, because she hates my guts, and that'd probably piss her off more. So yeah, like when she looked through the list and stuff like that, it's just kind of like, nah, this is lame, and bails. So it all kind of blew up, and poor Ko goes back home, and he's just tossing and turning in his bed thinking about all the things he did wrong. It's like literally your first date ever, and you blew it spectacularly. But obviously, it still struck a chord with Natsuna to some extent, because she went back home and she kind of looked at the rest of the list, because I think for her, it's like, even though that's not really her bag, I think it's still like the whole, well, at least you're putting in the effort. But then she realizes she's hungry, so she goes over to pick Ko up, and it's like flies him around the city. And for her, it's kind of like, well, that's not how we handle dates, but this is us having fun, this is us hanging out. She's like, so practically we've been on dates like all the time, because this is what we do, this is our version of a date. So it's actually really sweet and endearing. But like I said, I think it's also because she kind of did feel bad, like, right, I kind of, but like, having a meal, watching the night sky, and it's like, yeah, this has been out, it's a very, very romantic in its own way, like flying through the sky and just embracing the way they do during that whole sequence. Like, there is something really beautiful and romantic in its own right, but it's, it's Natsuna and Ko style. So But like I said, I do believe she probably did feel a little bad because she's like, well, you are putting in an effort and you are trying, so how can I disparage that? But it's like, right, that's just not my cup of tea. But why don't I handle our dates the way I would, like how we normally would? It's just I've never bothered putting a label on it, you know. So just thought that was interesting. And then the next night that we see, not necessarily the next night, but a different night, Ko is looking for her, and even though they're across the street from each other, he crosses paths with My Hero. He's like, oh my god, that was close. But he probably wouldn't recognize me. And immediately My Hero comes over and is like, yo, Ko, I immediately recognized you. And it's like, you have a certain like aura about you. Could we find out that like he's like, of course, like I was checking in on you, man. We're friends. And Ko was like, huh. Even though he's like, I never know when like friendship starts or when do you decide you and so are friends. For him, it's like me and Akira and Mahiro were definitely like they were basically my friends. He even says, but like because Akira was a girl, he never really knew how to really like contend with that. You know, even at a young age, he was kind of conscious of that, but not really sure how to really handle, like, approach her as a friend. But My Hero, things were easy. It's just kind of like they got along well. He's perfect in every way. His family runs a flower shop. He's good at sports. He's very social. He's got good grades. Like, he's everything. I even love later on when Akira randomly shows up and she's like, yeah, I'm out and about because my sleep schedule's kind of jacked up. But talks about the fact is that, you know, Ko's like, oh man, My Hero's so cool. And she's like, I get it, he's your role model. And Ko's like, he's everyone's role model. It's like, dude, everyone would look up to My Hero. But My Hero finds out, well, without the vampire element to it, that Ko's hanging out with a girl. It's like, oh, what are you doing? It's like, well, we hang out, we talk, we play games and stuff. And it's like, is it fun? And he's like, yeah. And even My Hero walks away from it. It's like, yo, I got to meet up with someone. But he's like, thanks. Like, you kind of gave me the courage to keep going. And he's like, oh my god, My Hero thanked me. So I thought that was fascinating. And it turns out that My Hero is going off to meet his date. And I guess hearing, like, you know, Ko putting forth that effort, I guess maybe My Hero kind of felt a little nervous, but hearing about Ko kind of gave him strength. They're like, yeah, my bud is kind of putting forth the effort, so should I. So Nazuna ends up seeing them across the street. So it's interesting, that parallel of My Hero and Ko almost crossed paths, but then My Hero caught up to Ko, and now it's like Nazuna's watching My Hero. Nazuna's watching My Hero with the older person he's with. Like, I hope that's not like a full-grown woman. Hopefully that's like at most a high schooler, or the case may be. Even she's like, huh. Even she's kind of like, it's kind of illicit hanging out with a middle schooler. And Ko came up to her, was like, wait, what? She's like, no, never mind, because I guess it kind of put things in perspective of, I guess that's kind of what it looks like from the outset, from outside of us. That's what it kind of looks like. But she ends up grabbing onto his hand, because I don't know if she did that because she saw My Hero and that girl, and I guess this whole conversation about romance. Well, for her, it's like, okay, let's hold hands just because, like, we don't get separated. It's like, you kind of wander off on your own. And he was like, no, that's kind of you who, like, makes it so hard to track you down. But, you know, and just the parallel of them going two separate ways, but very similar things, both older women holding their hands. It's really cute. So I'm curious to see where that goes and find out where that storyline with My Hero goes if we kind of dive into that more. You know, maybe it becomes the real thing. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just a fling and maybe he deals with heartbreak or something. I don't know. I'm interested to see, like, if anything really becomes of that storyline or not. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.